Hi, my name is Matt Kendricks. I'm the project lead for dSIPRouter. So today I'm happy to introduce you to a new feature that we're adding to dSIPRouter called voice agents. So voice agents really allows you to be able to turn dSIPRouter into a voice AI platform. So this will allow you to create, deploy, and manage voice AI agents. So let's go ahead and jump into it, and you'll be able to see what we've been working on. Okay, so let's jump into voice agents. Some of the core use cases for folks wanting to deploy this is a pretty common use case, is the receptionist use case. So this is where if for some reason the receptionist can't answer the phone, the voice agent will pick up, answer basic questions such as hours of operation, the address of the business, location information, and basic information about the business. The other use case is lead capture. So this is really for the ability of the voice agent to be able to capture contact information and route it to a live person, or send an email, or ask for a callback. The third use case is the estimator. So this is to provide pricing information and provide quotes to potential customers. And that one, this was very useful for situations where people are always calling your customers and asking them, how much would it cost if I got, these 5 widgets, these other uh, 4 widgets, and then also if I got it, wrapped. The estimator use case here can do all of those calculations and provide the end user with a actual cost that they can actually use to figure out if this is something they want to buy or not. And then the last one is book appointments. So this is the ability to using either Google Calendar or Calendly to be able to integrate, figure out when the available times are available, what times are available. Tell the user the times are available and allow the user to pick a time and be able to schedule an appointment. Either that's for getting a particular service done, or is that just a scheduled time with the business owner, or any of those use cases that has to deal with booking appointments or booking tours. The value proposition of using dSIPRouter to deliver a voice agent platform is a couple of different things. One, it provides a consistent way to create, deploy, and manage voice agents. So voice agents will be able to be created and deployed within 5 minutes. And those are all the use cases that I mentioned in the previous slide that were out of the box. The other thing is that there's no coding involved. Yes, you can, if you have a special custom use case, you can do some custom coding. We'll actually lay out how you can implement that. But there's really by the default use cases, there's no coding required. It's just configurability, right? So you'll just configure the agent to do and act a certain way. You also can deploy these agents without any additional software to manage. Right now, when many people deploy agents, there's a number of different things that need to be managed in order for the agent to operate properly. We handle all of that for you so that you don't have to worry about that. And then lastly, this kind of fits into your existing voice deployment workflow. Many folks who use this dSIPRouter are legacy or traditional voice folks. They don't necessarily know all the things that's needed in order to become this new voice AI engineer. I don't want people to have to learn that. I don't think in a lot of cases, I think people don't care to learn it. I think what they want to do is they want to be able to deploy agent for their customer. And that's what we're delivering out of the box. So this is the kind of the basic UI that we'll be delivering. It'll be a little bit more fancier than this, but this is kind of like one of our early prototypes of what this looks like. So basically, you'll be able to click add an OpenAI agent. And by the way, we're going to support multiple agent types down the road, but OpenAI is what we started with, and you'll be able to see what phone number or what DID is this agent tied to, and you'll be able to see a couple other things as well, and you'll be able to restart the agent and all those good things as well. These things aren't shown on this picture here, but this picture here just shows how you would add an agent. So really what you will be doing is selecting the type of agent, in this case OpenAI real time. You'll select a project ID, and we can come back out in future videos. I'll give you a real demo of what this looks like. You can name the actual agent, and then you can select tools. So tools are things that gives the agent a functionality, such as you saw in the use cases. So one of those tools is being able to send email. So once somebody actually gets a quote from you or calls the voice agent and gets a quote, you want to be able to get that user's number. You want to understand what they actually wanted, and you want to be able to call them back. And so the send email tool will allow you to be able to receive emails from the actual agent. And that particular tool comes shipped with dSIPRouter. So you don't have to build anything. You just need to give it a API key. Right now, we're leveraging SendGrid. So if you would just go into SendGrid, grab your API key, and then we would give that as a parameter inside of dSIP, and then from there, it will use that to make outbound or send outbound emails. The one thing that I want to hit on really quickly is that we plan to be able to support deploying this in a local instance of dSIPRouter, in a cluster, a dSIPRouter clustered instance, and also in Kubernetes. So for some reason, let's say, hey, you don't want to deploy it on your dSIPRouter instances, you could deploy it on Kubernetes if you want to. Now, you got to remember what's pretty cool about this is that you already have to have your dSIPRouter instances up and running anyway for being able to, handle inbound and outbound calling. So it just made good sense for the agents, the actual logic for the agents to also be hosted on dSIPRouter as well. So I think they'll become more clear when we walk through the architecture here. So let's start with this picture here. So you have a SIP provider, you have OpenAI, and then you have dSIPRouter. And dSIPRouter ships with a Docker container environment or Docker runtime environment, and then all of the agents are running as containers within that Docker environment. So with that being said, let's go through this. So, say you receive a phone call that's routed from your SIP provider, and it will hit dSIPRouter. dSIPRouter will then route the call through a concept of an endpoint group. For those who've been using dSIPRouter, that'll be very familiar with you with that concept. It'll route the call to OpenAI via SIP. And then what happen is that OpenAI is going to fire a webhook, which triggers the actual agent. So the agent is sitting there waiting for a request to happen. It will respond to that request by actually opening up a WebSocket to OpenAI. And then from that point forward, OpenAI and the agents will communicate over that WebSocket. So anything you want, anything that agent needs to do or make requests or to give it some type of logic in regards to how people are responding, that will be sent from OpenAI to the agent. The agent will then have logic to respond to that. All right, but keep going on here. Let's say in your use case that you want to be able to say, either say, speak to agent. And when you say speak to agent, what we'll do is that we will basically do a SIP refer, which will go back to the SIP provider, and the SIP provider will then route the call to another phone number that represents maybe tech support, for example. And then from there, that call will be the connection will between the SIP provider and the tech support organization or phone number. So that way, the end user will now be routed to tech support. Now, um, now you can do these a couple of different ways. Now we have all of the requests going to dSIPRouter, and then dSIPRouter handles routing the calls off to different entities. But you don't have to do it that way, right? So you could route it so that it's directly trying to communicate with the tech support entity. But I think one of the major benefits here is that and dSIPRouter typically will have all of your DIDs. It knows where all of your endpoints are. So just routing it back to dSIPRouter and letting dSIPRouter route it to the right location makes a lot of sense in a lot of use cases. But it can be done in a number of different ways. One thing here also I want to lay out is that the agents that get triggered, and as I mentioned before, there's going to be a set of tools that will be shipped with this particular new feature. And these tools will be like one for creating quotes, one for sending the email, and then something for scheduling appointments. I haven't really solidified what that first schedule appointments is going to be. Is it going to be really the integration with Google Calendar? Will it be with Calendly? We haven't really figured it out, but the goal is to ship something that actually allows you to allow the agent to schedule appointments. And obviously, if you have any custom tools you want to be able to add, we will support that in the future as well. Like from day one, you will be able to add your own tools to it. But in order for it to be done via the UI, that will be coming in a future release. But we will love people to be able to do all of this work in regards to getting agents up and going, all inside of all inside of the dSIPRouter UI, so that you don't have to worry about all the different pieces that make this happen. Lastly, this architectural view here kind of talks about this kind of shows how things are going to be routed internally inside of dSIPRouter. So when a webhook comes inbound to dSIP, it's going to hit our Nginx server, which is really the proxy server that sits in front of our web UI. But it's going to use 5001. That is going to be the defined port for any agents. So you will configure it to point to 5001, and 5001 will then route. There will be logic to route it to these different agents that's running as containers on a Docker environment. So that's kind of, this is a high level, the kind of the architecture, how we're running these particular containers. So anyway, this was a quick overview of what we're building around voice agents, and I think this is going to make it much easier for someone that's coming from the traditional SIP world to be able to start delivering on voice agents, which is what a lot of what I'm hearing from business customers and CEOs. They want their people to be able to deliver agents without having to do a bunch of coding and a bunch of learning to understand how this works. So I think the dSIPRouter voice agent module that we're delivering will provide that level of ease of use and obviously reduce the time it takes to get an agent up and going and out to your customers in production. All right. So this was a quick overview. The next video, I'll come back and we'll actually dive into dSIPRouter, and I'll show you how you will set this up and how you run it. All right. All right. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.